Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the four-digit World Cup Winners Finals. We're here with the United States, seed number 1, slated to win the tournament out of qualifiers and having a pretty easy time through the bracket so far. A couple of tough matchups in Australia and Poland in the quarterfinals and semifinals, but otherwise looking very solid throughout the entire tournament so far. Up against an unlikely contender, China, seed number 14, who have only had a matchup favored on paper in the round of 32. They upset seed 3 Canada in round of 16, seed 6 Brazil in quarterfinals, and seed number 2 South Korea to get here in the winners finals in an extremely unlikely winners bracket run, looking at the qualifier results and looking at teams before the tournament. I'm Dio. I'm here with Hubba for the winners finals this year.
Hello, everyone. Really excited for this matchup. It's a real David versus Goliath scenario. Already seeing our first bans coming out. The tapping being banned from the United States. DT2 is their ban. And China keeping on track with their previous bans, banning out AIM and alt. Out of their last 8 bans, that is now their 5th alt pick ban. Really consistent bans from them. Seeing that Fremont 3 going away. This team out. Rest in peace.
Yeah, I mean, the United States team has, I think, a much more well-rounded roster in terms of access to the kind of gimmicky picks in the pool, especially alt and tech, and especially those hidden picks. Not a lot of hidden players on China, whereas the United States has Gaby as a hidden specialist, players like Opixe, RNG, Twilight, who are all very good hidden players, as well as Batball, their captain. So quite a lot of players to choose from in terms of who they want to pick for those more unconventional maps in the pool as well. A lot of their, Hard Rock and DT players are still pretty good at a lot of those free mod alt aim control picks. So United States banning out Speed once again. Nomad 5 DT2 banned out by them against China here. I don't think super surprising given just how much of China's roster tends to prefer those speed maps. Lots and lots of DT players on their side. And as you said, Hubba, another aim ban for China, banning out that Nomad 1.
Yeah, do you think it's a bit of a shocker that they didn't ban out any of the hidden pool, especially with that hidden 3 also being an alt pick?
I mean, I think a little bit. Definitely a little surprising, but you do have, I think, more of a lean toward hidden than the aim maps in the pool from China. Like, you do have players like Z Numbers, Dwagon, JJ, and both Maki and XZ1, the 2 CRZ players, who can all play those hidden maps, right? It's not that that's their, it's not that they are top players in the tournament on that skill set, but they can play it. They can access those picks. So, and especially some of those reading picks, like the Hidden 2 and Nomad 6, I think would be very contested picks. That said, the Free Mod 1 here, kind of an interesting pick. It is awkward aim, it is density, but it's also very streamy. 214 BPM with a lot of long streams in this map, so a little bit more on the speed mechanics focused side than you might expect out of a free mod 1 in this pool.
Yeah, everything about this map has a bit of an awkward element to it. These jumps at weird angles, some of these streams are a bit wiggly. Interested to see what the mod combinations are going to be here. Definitely Gaby coming in on the hidden, I would assume, for the United States.
Yeah, I don't know if he'd actually played this just because of how streamy it is. Like, a lot of these patterns are not super accessible unless you are strong on just straight up mechanics, which makes finding a hidden fill player more difficult than you might expect. You have Lolo235, Dwagon, XZ1, and Z Numbers in for China. So you're expecting XZ1 to probably go on either the hidden or Nomad. David, Dwagon, and Z Numbers probably just on Hard Rock, if I had to guess. This is a map that's dense enough that Hard Rock honestly kind of feels better for probably a lot of players on this map. And yeah, RNG, Pez, Toki, and Twilight coming in for this. Pez, Toki, Twilight all probably taking either Hard Rock, maybe Nomad in the case of Twilight. RNG probably taking the Hidden in this case, if I had to guess. It's going to be one of RNG and Twilight taking the Hidden for this match.
Oh, it'll be Twilight taking the Hidden.
And actually, David taking Hidden also. I'm a little surprised to see him taking a second Hidden for China. XZ1 also taking that Hidden there. Dwagon the only Hard Rock. Really expected to see something like a triple Hard Rock or at least a double Hard Rock from China on this map, but David definitely solid enough on the Hidden as well, and clearly more comfortable on it here than the Hard Rock.
Yeah, both teams overmodding their own way. Double Hard Rock for US, double Hidden for China. And the early break going to Z numbers, being held together by slight accuracy lead.
Yeah, Dwagon and Twilight also trading now, so just a trade back and forth. Accuracy lead still in favor of China, and there goes Pez on the Hard Rock, so now 2 full combos to 2 on either side, but Z numbers with the better recovery. RNG and Toki versus David and XZ1 at the moment. Twilight gonna find another break here for the United States, and this first pick just not working out so far, but Z numbers will find another break to match that break from Twilight. You can see just how taxing these stream sections are, though. Toki dropping to 94 AC and breaking the combo. Massive lead now to China, but there goes David. So it's just XZ1 versus RNG. RNG on the Nomad. XZ1 goes down, Dwagon goes down, and everyone on China has fallen within the last 250 combo. And it's just RNG holding on to the only big combo in the lobby, still on the FC, 99.6 AC, looking very comfortable for the United States.
Yeah, the one Nomad player holding it down, that consistency showing through for RNG as they take back the score lead for the United States. Recovery combo on Z numbers, however, with these breaks from Pez and Toki still continuing on, the 2 Hard Rock players. Those mods being lost out for the United States, keeping the score close.
Alright, gonna come down to the last half here. Still quite a lot of time left. Another break from Dwagon. General recovery combo slightly higher on the side of the United States, so giving them a little bit more leeway. And that's a massive 3-way break for China. Z numbers, Dwagon, and XZ1 all breaking there. Only David to hold any combo during this PI time. Toki will match, but that's it. Pez and Twilight still holding. RNG still on the FC. Dropped a little bit of back, down to 99.4 now instead of 99.6, but it's not like that's doing much. And even with this break from Twilight, you can see just how much that massive 3-way break did for the lead from the United States, now up to over 200,000, where before it was about 30, 40K.
Yeah, just a big skyrocket here, all the way up to 300 by the time this match ends, probably. It's all eyes on RNG, see if he can close out this FC.
And not too much map left either. Everyone on China breaking once again. Twilight, Toki will also find breaks once more, but just not going to matter here as RNG putting up a huge score for the United States. I think kind of necessary also, right? Pez and David are pretty much matching here, slightly higher for Pez. But overall, the supporting score is better from China. You have another couple of 400K for Z numbers. So without that big score for RNG, it would have been very close between these two teams. So massive pop off for him on the full combo, and United States starting it off 1-0.
Yeah, and on paper, that's like a surprising first pick for them if you don't like take that RNGFC into account. Massive trade performance, and immediately be tapping counter pick for China. Been their bread and butter throughout this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, this is not surprising. Double speed ban from the United States, and China just instantly picks into speed. Not at all a surprise here if you've been paying attention to the teams throughout the tournament. You'll know that China has consistently been near the top of the leaderboards on a lot of these DT maps. The one thing that does maybe give you a bit of pause on something like this DT3 is a lot of the better maps for China throughout the tournament have been on higher BPM speed maps. I think that's why you see United States banning out Nomad 5 DT2. 240 BPM on the Nomad 5, 255 BPM on the DT2, only 225 BPM here on the DT3, and I think far more focus on the low aim and kind of aim control on this map. CS5 for this pick. Of course, still AR 10.3, OD 10.4, and with it being marathon length map with DT, going to be very consistency focused, but I think much better for the United States on this pick than on something like a typical tournament DT3 where you're looking at really high BPM bursts all over the place. That doesn't really exist in this pool, and so I think for United States, they're pretty happy about that versus this Chinese team that is frequently very solid on those higher BPM speed maps.
Yeah, everything about this map demands your attention, demands that control. It's gonna be a much simpler time for the United States. This map only having 4 DTFCs by DT Giants, and we do have a disconnect.
I think that's within the first 30 seconds, so probably see an abort here, assuming somebody knows to type it. In the meantime, okay, there we go.
Huge.
So yeah, waiting on the last player there for United States to come back in. It was Toki who disconnected there and disconnected 22 seconds into the map. So we're going to be getting Toki back into the lobby and restarting the map once it happens. But yeah, I mean, I think for China, your strategy is mostly pick into the DTs, pick into the hard rocks, and see how well you can do on those before you kind of have to start going into stuff like the Nomad 2. Maybe they want to go into that Nomad 2 a little bit earlier, but I do think a lot of the picks for China are going to be into, the DT3, the DT1, the maybe Nomad 2, Hard Rock 1. And then from there, I feel like it tends to be... it kind of starts getting a little bit more difficult just because of how good the gimmick roster is for United States, because a lot of these maps, the Hard Rock 2, the Hard Rock 3, the Free Mod 2, even stuff like the Hard Rock 1 is a little bit less standard than you might expect it to be for the slot. So having a lot of all-rounders on the team does help a lot there. That said, China, of course, has gotten here by a string of very unlikely upsets, so you can never count them out too early. We'll just have to see exactly how it shakes out later on. For now, on to the DT3, 3.5-minute marathon length stream map. CS5 and AR 10.3, not a combination you see all that often, so players who are really, really solid on the higher approach rate reading should do a little better on this map.
For sure, and expected rosters from both teams. This has been the consistent United States DT roster. Pez, Toki, Rico, and Batball. Gonna be seeing the first breaks out of Team China, both Z Numbers and Dwagon, breaking in these early patterns, only traded by Rico.
There goes Dwagon once again, and Batball also finding the drop here for United States. Batball not always in on these speed maps. Maybe the flow aim on this reason to put him in, but dropping a lot of misses there. Z Numbers is going to trade. So, four-way break for China. Dwagon breaking a little earlier on, but all the full combos down now for China. And it is Pez this time to hold on for the United States. And Dwagon goes there as well in the Ki time. And this is just a huge combo lead for the United States. Only Pez holding on, but that's all they need. And frequently, when it comes to these higher star rating pools, this is a 7.6 star pool for this Nomad 1. The Nomad 1 in this pool was Corsace Open Finals in 2022. This is a really difficult pool. When it comes to pools this high star rating, oftentimes just one really solid player on a map can make all the difference, and you're seeing that here. Pez up at 400,000. The next best score in the lobby is 270k from Batball, and a 360,000 score lead for the United States because of it.
Yeah, and far and away the highest accuracy on the map as well. Had 97.7 before that break. not being really matched by anyone on Team China, that flow aim is going to make a huge difference for them in the consistency. And 400k score lead, only a third of the map remaining. I believe this is just a done deal for United States. Easy pick for them. Or rather, a breakpoint for them.
I mean, anything can happen still. There's still a third of the map to go, but definitely looking like a United States win for sure. And I think most of China would have had to hold here through this ending, and we would have had to see a pretty big collapse from the United States in order to make this work, and that's just not what's happening right now. It's China with the four-way break, Pez still holding combo, Toki on 200 combo for the United States. And while Batball doesn't have much combo, he's got 96% accuracy, up by 2.5% over the highest ACK on China from Dwagon. So this is just kind of, when you get to these later stages, the teams that have these really high skill cap members across the board really start to stand out. And United States is definitely one of those. Pez with open rank high placements such as Hippo Cup this last iteration. I think the experience definitely paying off on some of these mechanics picks. He was able to put up very good scores even in Hippo Cup Grand Finals this previous iteration. And yeah, 670k on this map, 270,000 score ahead of the next best play, which is on his own team, by the way. 414k from Toki and 400k from Batball. This pick actually more dominant for the United States than their first pick.
Yeah, and that begs the question. The United States probably going to pull from their aim bag again, but if they can't win the tapping, what does China do here? These Hard Rock picks are also a bit awkward, as you mentioned. That was their secondary option in other matches, but CS 6.5 Hard Rock 1, very like soft techy Hard Rock 3. It's going to be tricky for them to find an entry into here.
We'll see what they end up going with eventually. For now, next pick from the United States, and I would think with the bans from China, you can go into something like Tapioca relatively comfortably. You can go into something like the Hidden 3, Kuchibunkai relatively comfortably. You could even go into something like the DT4, though China has been very solid on that skill set throughout the tournament, basically just high AR DT alt. So I kind of expect them to pick into that. So maybe you instead go into some of the Nomads, but once again, both of these teams have been avoiding the Nomads a little bit in the later stages. Definitely favor United States on stuff like the Nomad 3, Nomad 4, but not sure if they're going to pick that this early on. We'll see where they end up wanting to go eventually. If you do want the most straightforward aim map in the pool right now, you go DT1, but I'm going to dip into the reading, actually. Nomad 6. I think this is a pretty solid pick for the United States. Yeah, it's still contested by China, but China has only had so many good scores on these more difficult reading maps. You look at the Nomad 6 from last week, and it was, around 400 or 500k for basically everyone. But then you look at the one from quarterfinals, one that was a very polarizing sort of map, very, very tricky overall type of map here. And am I thinking of which one am I thinking of? There was one map that a lot of players really, really struggled on. And basically only one player from China was able to do well on. I believe it was JJ who had a very, very good score. Yeah, it was on Hidden 2 in semifinals. Had the second top score of the weekend on that map, second only to Extremities from Australia. So I think JJ is going to be a big asset for China on this map. You could also see David do pretty well on this. He did top score the Nomad 6 for China last week. But not too much of a surprise to see any of these players in for this map from the side of China. On the United States, Twilight Gaby, Pez are all pretty solid options.
We can only expect Batball.
Yeah. I think you have to expect Batball to come in for this, surely.
And there's the man himself. When the AR is lower, you really have no choice but to put him in.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, not too surprising of a roster for either team. I don't normally expect Pez to go in on low AR reading, but he can play pretty much anything as long as it doesn't have hidden on. So should still be a solid player for the United States, and of course is in on this map because his scores in practice are better than players like Opixe or RNG, who you might expect to go in on this instead of him. This map, by the way, is very tricky, not because of the low AR in particular, but because the low AR mixed with finger control, rhythm tech, and lots of kind of non-standard alt patterns, as well as these changing high to low velocity sliders all over the place.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing that first break coming out of Team China. Survivor X4 having a hard time getting into it, as well as Lolo, but it's traded by Gaby and Batball. Actually pretty even out of the first quarter, other than these accuracies.
Yeah, I was just about to say 95, 95, 95, and 90 for the United States. Twilight still on that FC with 90%, but then 90, 82, 87, and 195 for China. 95 just on David right now. And this is kind of the comfort difference for the United States. And this is what we've been talking about throughout this the start of this match, right? Is that these gimmick picks for the United States, a lot of their gimmick players are just better. And this kind of lead, almost 300k, when China's team score is not even 600k yet, is absolutely massive for the United States. Only JJ still has the full combo for China. He might have 83% accuracy, but he's on the full combo. Unfortunately, he breaks the full combo, and unfortunately, Pez and Twilight are both FCing for the United States with way better accuracy.
Yeah, Pez really proving his worth here in this hidden 6, or no, Nomad 6 pick. Even over the reading specialist on his team, he's really having a run of it with this pool. Oh my god. The triple break out of Team United States can be losing both of the FCs, but still, what's done is already done, and they've more than secured a win on here.
This indicates extreme weakness of the organ.
All right, and solid pick for the United States once again. Pez with 770k, Twilight with 570k. And both of those scores are higher than anyone from China, Lowell or David, with the 414k. But even then, Batball's 350k is still higher than 3 of 4 scores on the side of China. So just a way better overall team performance from the United States. Accuracy, it tells the whole story there. And now on to DT1 for China. I don't think super surprising. I think you leave these DT picks up for China if you are the United States. Just let them pick into the DT1 to DT4 remaining, and pick into more of these relatively gimmicky picks yourself, especially with how well that Nomad 6 just went.
Yeah, and it makes sense they'd pick the DT1 over the DT4. As you mentioned before, the higher BPM has been their bread and butter. DT1 not going their way. DT1 bit higher, bit harder in skill cap. Gonna opt for that.
So just waiting on that DT1 to be switched on here. Max Love by DJ Yoshitaka. This is AR 10.5, 270 BPM. Somewhat bursty, but it's not really a burst map. It's much more of an aim map overall. There are a couple of bursts here and there, but what DT aim map doesn't have them? Relatively comfortable aim. I mean, there's not a ton going on in this map. It's a very straightforward sort of pick. I think the most straightforward aim map in the pool, and it's not really close. None of the other aim picks in this pool are very straightforward, so this one definitely the simplest option remaining in the pool. See how well China can do on this pick. If they can put themselves on the board and stop the bleeding, you go down 4-0 in a best of 13, and half the match is already over for United States. So you really don't want to go down that 4-0.
And if anything, they won't have to deal with any consistency struggles on this map, it being the shortest in the pool, only CV size, minute 30. Both teams have their rosters on, just waiting to jump into it.
All right, looks like both rosters are ready to go despite the mishaps with putting the map on. Pez, Twilight, Toki, and Ricole in for the United States. Don't think that's super surprising. All of these players pretty solid on the GT overall. David, Z Numbers, Dwagon, and Survivor in for China. Again, not super surprising. All these players are pretty solid on DT generally. David, much less a speed player and more a DT aim and gimmick player, so I think you expect to see David in on the remaining DT picks left. Unfortunately, does find a break as I call him out, and the United States still on a 4-way FC, only one FC left for China on Survivor. But Toki will match one of those breaks coming from China, makes it a little bit closer here, but definitely still United States favored as another couple of breaks come through for China, matched by Pez.
Sequel also going to go down. It's 1-1. Survivor and Twilight holding on. Survivor with a big act lead as well. Half a map remaining. United States already has a massive lead from holding onto those combos longer.
Yeah, and Survivor broke as well.
Oh, I didn't even see that. He's out. And Twilight holding through these bursts somehow. It's at 89%. He does what he needs to do for his team.
Twilight mashing through and holds the full combo, and United States now up by 600,000 and climbing. FC still intact. Only FC in lobby, I might add. Toki and Pez go down. Z Numbers, Dwagon, Ricole also go down. Everybody's dropping like flies except for Twilight and David, but unfortunately, David's score will not be enough. It is an 830,000 score lead for the United States. They can 3v4 as long as Twilight is on the roster. And unfortunately, not enough for China. 600k from Survivor, 570k from David, but 900k from Twilight, 700k from Pez, and 650k from Toki. Hell, 580k for Ricole, still better than 3 of the 4 members from China.
Yeah, they really need to tap into a different bag here, I think, for this entryway. As they've picked DT twice, their strongest skill set on paper, but the United States is strong everywhere they go. I don't doubt that they pick DT4 next, but it's gotta do a big hit to your morale to be taken down like that in both of your speed picks.
Yeah, and now United States has the next pick as well, right? You're looking at maybe the Hidden 2 if they want to go with that, but Hidden 3 is still open, Nomad 3 is still open. Very, very tricky sort of mixed finger control and alt map with a lot of these 1/8 doubles.
Yeah.
Something like the Free Mod 2 is also still open. Very aim control, reading, finger control focused there on Burning Star. There's a lot of options for the United States right now that completely avoid the Hard Rock pool, kind of China's second option, right? So they kind of got pick of the litter, and for China, your options are running out very quickly, as a lot of these other maps, we saw what happened on the Nomad 6. Not super competitive for China on many of the other more gimmick-focused picks in the pool, and the United States, I think, smartly sticking to those more gimmicky picks rather than going for something like the Hard Rock 1 or the Hidden 1 or the Nomad 2. Keep it on the more complex sorts of mapping with this Free Mod 2 pick.
Yeah, Free Mod 2 being a bit less accessible than the Hidden 2, I think. The Hidden 2 having more standard aim elements. This one, it's Burning Star. We've all seen Burning Star. It's gonna be finger control. It's gonna be aim control. It's gonna be a lot rougher for those players. We're gonna see if maybe we see a bit more hard rocks on Team China than usual.
Yeah, the problem with the hard rocks for Team China at this point is skill cap, right? This is a 6.5 star map, alt finger control focused, no mod, that is also CS5. So this is, close to 7.5 stars with hard rock and still on the alt finger control, aim control kind of skill set. So keeping that star rating down may be a concern here for China. But you see Dson coming in, likely to take the Nomad or Hidden. David also in here for China, really could go any which way. CRZ Maki in as well, maybe on the Nomad or Hidden, and Survivor X4 probably on the hard rock here for China. So I don't think they're going to have multiple hard rocks. I think if anything, maybe you go double Hidden on Maki and Dson and let David take Nomad here. We'll see what they end up wanting to go with. As for United States, Pez, Opixe, RNG, and Gaby in for them. Gaby on the Hidden, Pez almost certainly on the hard rock. Opixe and RNG, one of them has to take a mod, but I'm not sure who's going to and which mod it's going to be. It's going to be Hidden hard rock for Opixe, actually.
Easy.
And four mods for China. 2 easy, 2 hard rock. Okay.
They did this in the Brazil match as well, I believe. They went double easy on these 2 players, and it turned out pretty well for them. It was their final pick in the pool, so the backup strategy has come into place.
Yeah, they've done this before. This is not a super easy, forgiving map, right? Like, this is not a map that is very accessible on easy. It's not grid snap or anything like that. Rhythms are all very chunked out, so to speak, compared to the difficulty that everyone is familiar with from the US World Cup. So I think this is manageable. Definitely not simple, but manageable on easy. You see a lot of these kind of standalone doubles and triples in this map, as well as just the normal longer streams. Nobody breaking so far. Everyone on the full combo. Survivor, I think, with a reverse choke right now on the hard rock, but may as well be an FC. Same for Gaby. Very, very start of the map having broken. Gonna find another miss and match it with Survivor there.
Yeah, big trade for both teams. This accuracy advantage. Oh, break from Pez and Pixie at the same time. Gonna be giving China a big advantage here. Dson, the only one to trade. 2 FCs to 1 on both of these easies. And that high accuracy can be giving them a big advantage here. But breaking, and that is all on RNG here on the Nomad.
And he breaks as well. I mean, his breaks all over the place. The problem for China is that these easies are not worth the same as Nomad, right? That mod multiplier is just not quite the same as on Nomad. So they really need to pull the combo back together here in the last third of the map. They do still have a 50k score lead to work with, but not much combo on any player. Their easy players are ahead in combo here at 200. But is it going to be enough to keep them in the lead through the last third quarter of the map? Survivor, Dson, Opixe all going down. It's all on David and Maki. David is going to drop. Opixe and Gaby will trade, but RNG and Pez to hold, where it's just Maki for China. 15k the score lead now. And how long can Maki hold on?
Yeah, too many chain misses on these hard rock players for China now. The score is flickering.
Yeah, Pez broke for the United States. That's one of the big combos down. If RNG breaks here, it's all over for the United States. Another 3-way break for them. And China holding on here. David getting back some combo. Maki will drop. Survivor, Dson also breaking. Is David's enough here at the very end? It is. They're going to get through the spinner with a 10k score lead by the end of the map and put themselves on the board. The easy gambit working out once again for China, just barely holding on to that score lead at the end of the map.
Yeah, when in doubt, they pull backup strategy, and double easy was the move here. Gonna be taking their first point as a break point. And now it goes into their pick. I would only imagine Nomad 2 is their strongest choice here. A bit more stamina intensive than anything else left over.
Maybe DT4 as well. Flashback DT4. Also, I think, a solid shout for them. I think a little better for them, given their kind of team roster. A lot of their best players, like David, for example, not really a speed player, right? We saw him chain missing a lot on the DT3, but still a solid DT player and all-rounder. So something like the DT4 that's maybe a little bit more accessible to a player like David should still be pretty solid for them. And the rest of their DT players have done pretty well on those types of maps. Other than that, I agree that Nomad 2, I think, is their best pick remaining.
You're gonna see which one they opt into if they're... Maki is really sick of easy, apparently. Even though it's working for him. You do what you gotta do.
He was forced to grind the same map 20 times. If they're not going to go with the Nomad 2 with the DT4, I feel like we'll probably see one of the Hard Rocks. Something like the Hard Rock 2, maybe. And it is just going to be the DT4, yeah, flashback. The United States really does not want to play Hidden 1. It is 5 minutes long. I can kind of understand why they don't want to pick it. But luckily for them, China not going to pick that map, going with Flashback instead. This is kind of a classic. This has been around in tournaments for a very long time. Various difficulties of Flashback have been used in tournaments for as long as I've been staffing them, probably before then as well. This was ranked in 2016, after all. Usually you see the top diff, which is a little bit more tech-focused, a little less focused on just kind of the alt aim control, cut doubles and cut triples all over the place. That's really what this difficulty is about, is just that aim control. Far less sliders and finger control on this map. They do still exist, but not nearly to the same extent as in the top diff that a lot of people are probably used to seeing in tournaments.
Yeah, and this map's going to be really in your face with the CS3. A little bit of a density difference, perhaps, from the other difficulties. We have the US roster in Pez, Recoil, Toki, and Batball hopping back in for a DT pick. Makes a bit more sense here.
And already a lot of breaks actually coming out from China. David, Survivor, Deson all breaking. It's just Dwagon holding on to the FC. Pez, Recoil, Toki, and Batball in for the United States, all holding the full combos during the intro here.
Yeah, this map really does throw you in for a loop here, and that's the final FC down for China. 2 breaks traded for the United States, but this Batball and Toki FC is going to be giving them a big lead early. And China having a hard time consolidating any combos here. Highest 1-200 on Deson.
There's a wipe for the United States. Deson unfortunately will break as well. And despite the wipe for the United States, the accuracy is still way in their favor as well. Highest stack on China, 92, 93 for David and Survivor. Average act on the United States around that 95% mark. Recoil at 91 is the lowest, but everybody else is 95 or 96 for the United States, and that's where so much of the score lead is coming from. The overall comfort on this pick just so much higher for the United States, and whether that's the ulti nature of the pick, the higher OD and approach rate, or just the skill cap coming out from this roster, it doesn't really matter at this point. United States, just seems to have China's number on every single map so far. That free mod 2 being the exception, but every other map has just looked so good for the United States and just a bit rough for China. And no major changes to the game state here in the last quarter. Survivor has the best combo in the lobby, but it's just not nearly enough. 550,000 score lead for the United States, more than half the team score from China in favor of the USA. And this is just looking like yet another breakpoint for the USA. 3 of 4 members above 400K for the United States, only 1 member above 300K for China.
Yeah, not at all close, and on paper was their best pick, so it's tough to say where they go from here if they have much remaining, anything left in the gas tank.
And now just 2 more picks standing between the United States and a guaranteed top 2 finish in the 4-digit World Cup. As we load in for what is probably yet another gimmick pick from the United States. Take a minute to remind everyone about the sponsors, Blue Bunny and Booting for the 4-digit World Cup here. I believe we do have the sponsorship here.
Yeah.
Yep. So go ahead and check out Blue Bunny and Booting. Big thanks to them for sponsoring the 4-digit World Cup. Blue Bunny, of course, a tablet cover manufacturer, and Booting, I think everybody knows by this point. But go ahead and check them out as well. And now for the next pick from the United States. Again, kind of pick of the litter here. No Mod 3, No Mod 4 still up. Hidden 2, Hidden 3 still up. I think any of these maps are expected from the USA. If they do pick into one of the Hard Rocks, I'll be slightly surprised. But if it's Hard Rock 1 or Hard Rock 3, I don't think I'm too surprised about that. I think the Hard Rock 2 is probably the one to avoid if you are the United States. And okay, well, I mean, you know, they're probably still gonna win it anyway. It's just alt, but it's CS7, so whatever, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's probably fine. They'll probably still win this one anyway.
Yeah, they're having fun with it. Always good to see higher than 6.5 precision in a pool.
Just for some context, the reason we talked about, or at least that I talked about, the United States maybe wanting to avoid this Hard Rock 2 is like a lot of the all-rounders for China prefer that Hard Rock a bit. David sometimes prefers that Hard Rock. Z Numbers is a Phil Hard Rock player. Dwagon is a Phil Hard Rock player. D-Son can play Hard Rock Precision pretty well. Survivor is a Hard Rock player. So a lot of their roster is relatively solid on the Hard Rock. But that said, this is an alt map where the United States has players who are just way better on the skill set than for Team China, right? We talk about the No Mod 3 being favored toward them, so not too surprising that after everything else that's gone on, we see them pick into this Hard Rock 2, especially with a double easy coming through from China on the free mod 2. It shows that they really don't want to play that kind of alt precision at this higher star rating.
Yeah, and we talk about skill cap a lot with the United States, this one being a OWC Finals Hard Rock 2. Like, it's going to be the highest skill cap. So, seeing United States picking into it, not too surprising.
All right, we're loaded in. Maki actually in for China, one of the members who very seldom plays these Hard Rock picks. going in for the Chinese roster here. At least in the context of 4-digit World Cup this year, has pretty seldom played these hard rock picks. Much more often on the reading or other gimmick maps outside of the hard rock pool. Lots and lots of early breaks going on here. I believe it's only David with a full combo, Twilight on the reverse choke, everyone else having broken, and there goes Twilight once again. So now it's just David holding that FC. Survivor going to break. Toki holding on to some combo for the United States, but score lead in the favor of China right now, and Disan is going to hold down the fort after that break from David. So, and now Disan actually gone, so combo lead back in the favor of the United States. This map, again, talk about skill cap, Hubba, and how hard this map is, being an OWC Finals pick. Yeah, we're seeing that right now. Nobody is holding combo.
Yeah, a little bit of a recovery there from Toki, holding on to 300, but yeah, it's going to keep flickering. Everyone's going to keep missing. Having to hold on to this for 2.5 minutes on CS7, like, it's going to tire you out. It's going to drain you. We're going to be seeing a pretty wacky ending, I would assume.
Yeah, Pez still holding some combo here for the United States on 300 combo. Currently top scoring the lobby as well. David not too far behind at that 220k. And then it's Toki and Maki right afterwards. Recall really struggling on this pick, now just cresting that 100k mark. So the supporting scores for China doing some of that extra work that's needed, but just not able to keep up with the bigger combos coming from Pez and previously Toki. Now David dropping that high combo. It's just Disan holding anything for China, and Pez is on nearly 500 combo now going into the last quarter of the map. Score lead just about to crest 100k for the first time for the United States, and with everyone on China having broken now, nobody above 100 combo in the whole lobby except for Pez up at that 600 combo mark. This one looks pretty over for China. The United States locking in yet another successful pick, maybe a little closer than they would have liked on this pick, that 500k from Pez. Maybe a little bit too much of a pop-off, or a little bit more of a pop-up than they would have liked to have needed on this sort of map, because with only a 130,000 score lead, this is one of the closer maps that we've seen so far in this match. Yeah, extremely good score from Pez, 98% accuracy. Next best act in the lobby is 96 from David. Top scoring the map for Team China with 413k. So a 200,000 score gap between Pez and the next best score in the lobby, I think shows you just how solid that run was. And they needed every bit of that score lead, right? Their total score lead was only 130k. So if all Pez does is match David, China wins that pick. So they really needed that pop off, and Pez delivered.
Yeah, and I know still a little too late. Maki missed in between the breaks in the middle of the map, which probably significantly dampened their score. It would have been super close otherwise, but it was on the buzz slider at the bottom.
All right, potentially last pick for China here. Backs against the wall, match point every single map they play from now on. They go Nomad 4 to, from their end, potentially start off the comeback. Pretty standard slider tech map, a little bit of rhythm with a lot of 1/3 in the map. Obviously, some aim control on the streams and bursts in this map as well, but generally pretty standard for a tech Nomad pick.
Yeah, a bit surprising for them to pick into this. Maybe they aren't feeling as confident on the full aim after those BTT performances to try something new. Tech not being really played yet, might as well. Backs against the wall, gotta make it a little dirty.
They're gonna have to win some of these more gimmicky picks, right? So I think at some point in this match, this is getting picked regardless. China already with the roster ready, though. David, JJ, Survivor, and Disan in for them. Pezzo picks a Bat Ball and maybe Twilight, maybe somebody like... Yeah, okay, this is Twilight.
Is this, correct me if I'm wrong, this is JJ's first map this match? I don't believe
JJ
I've
did play the Loear Nomad earlier on, I believe. Hasn't played too many maps, of course. China mostly picking into mechanic stuff. JJ, a reading player for the most part, did play the Loear reading Nomad earlier on. But yeah, since then has stayed out of the lobby. So JJ back in for the second map of the match. If you're rooting for a close match, or if you're rooting for Team China, hopefully it's a good map for JJ. All right, into the Nomad 4. USA looking to close it out 7-1. China looking to potentially start off a comeback here. If the United States wins any map from now on, they are guaranteed top 2 and a winner's bracket advantage in grand finals. China have already secured top 3. They're just hoping to potentially get a top 2 spot for themselves, not wanting to drop down into that loser's bracket finals, as honestly, any potential opponent out of the other 4 remaining teams would be very scary in loser's bracket finals.
Yeah, and no matter what happens here, a massive victory for China in the sense that last year they barely made semis, and here they are in winners bracket finals, taking out seed 2, taking out seed 3, taking out seed 6, just really showing how strong they can be in this tournament. Massive props to them. As we see, first couple breaks on Survivor and JJ, only matched by Twilight and Pixie. Actually gonna be 1 FC to 1 FC on Pez and Dison.
Yeah, Dison on 93 accuracy, though. Pez on near 98. So Dison is going to need to combo game a little bit here. Hope for a miss out of Pez, or a few misses out of Pez, so that his combo can start to do some work for Team China. For now, the score lead still going in the favor of the United States. Accuracy drops for USA do bring the score a little closer towards Team China, but the overall combo and accuracy still in favor of USA, and that score lead still going up. There goes Survivor once again, matched by Twilight. Batball also dropping, Pixie also dropping, Pez dropping the FC, and this is massive now. Dison still
Banjo.
holding, JJ still holding, and Pez with Banjo. Man. Well, there goes JJ. There goes Pez, maybe.
Is that one real?
Is that one real?
It was
Is
real.
that one real? I don't think it was real. Maybe it is real. Maybe it is real.
Oh.
Nope, it's not real. Okay. Yeah. That was the longest Banjo miss ever, man. What is that? All right. Still on 1,000 combo for Pez. Still on the FC. I'm not even trusting that one. I'm just assuming he's FCing this. Yeah, it's been Banjo the other 2 times in a row.
Oh.
That was a miss on a circle. Maybe that one was real. Okay, maybe he's actually missing here. Surely it's not Banjo through, like, misses on circles there. And it shows A rank here at the break. I think that might actually be real. Dison, though, is still on a lower score than Pez, and that is a 233,000 score lead for the United States right now. Dison basically has to...
What?
Oh my god. Okay. Well, that's a heartbreaker right there.
Yeah, that is sad.
That's GG. That is GG. And that is going to be the match, I think. There's just no big combo on the side of China now at all for them to come back with. Pixie and Batball have some combo. There's a 400,000 score lead for the United States. Accuracy far on their side. And that is going to be the winners finals. United States taking it 7-1 here over China. China putting up a good fight on a few maps. A couple of good standout scores for a lot of their members, but just not nearly enough against the team-wide dominance for the United States. And of course, a huge performance from Pez on multiple maps across different skill sets in this pool. Top scoring, I think, more maps than anyone else in the entire match throughout this one. But United States making quick work of China here, 7-1, securing top 2 and securing that winner's bracket advantage in the grand finals.
Yeah, and China can leave this match, see the winners bracket through, or the losers bracket through, and are guaranteed a top 3, a significantly higher placement than their placement last year. Kudos to them.
A
Credit where it's
significantly
due.
higher placement than I think most people would have expected from this Chinese roster, right? Usually, you have Kurumi also playing, Lolo234. He's not playing this time around. There's a lot of mainstays for the Chinese 4-digit World Cup roster that are just not here this year. So for China to still do this well, still get top 3, and improve on their placement from last year is awesome for them. So very well done, regardless of what happens. But I think whichever opponent makes it into the losers bracket grand final is going to be a big challenge for China as well. South Korea, seed number 2, Canada, seed number 3, Poland, seed number 4, are still in the tournament, and Sweden, seed number 7, is also still in the tournament right now. Sweden taking out Brazil 6-1 last weekend, and beating France in a tiebreaker afterwards. So all 4 of those teams are very scary opponents for both the United States and China in the grand finals. We'll see which of them makes it through throughout the rest of the weekend. 14 UTC tomorrow, we have Poland versus Sweden. 17 UTC tomorrow, we have South Korea versus Canada. And then the potential matchup, either 13 or 17 Sunday. That's going to be it for now, though. Once again, thank you everyone for watching. Congratulations to the United States. Good luck to China in the losers bracket finals. Thank you, Hubba, for casting alongside me, and to James for streaming. And we'll see you all back here in about 10 hours for Poland versus Sweden.
Bye-bye.